Hello, everybody, and welcome to the AEW Rewind podcast. My name is Shawn Long,
I'm Justin Bradley,
and A Fight for the Fallen for 2020 is in the books.
and another great show from AEW. I think this was probably one of their better shows out of the three pay-per-view, whatever you want to call them, shows that they had these past 3 weeks. I think this was the best show, in my opinion. I think a lot of storylines turned a page. I think new storylines were made, and the wrestling was pretty good all around.
There's a lot of characters on the show that are gonna make you wonder where they're gonna go next after tonight.
Because if you think about it now, they're just building right to All Out, which is September 5th, I believe. They have like 5-6 weeks, I think, to build here. So it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks.
So the first match of the show was the TNT Title match between Sonny Kiss and Cody.
And there was a lot of hate towards this match in general.
I thought it was entertaining, at least.
Yeah, I mean, before the match, there was a lot of hate, obviously, because how does he get a challenge?
After just kind of not doing too much, and then all of a sudden title match.
Yeah, and then obviously there was a lot of hate from the anti LGBT community on Twitter.
That's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah, that was a bad Twitter week leading up to this, but I think Sonny really performed well, and I think he, I think he has a lot of potential. I don't think he's there yet, but it was a solid match.
Cody was very serious, I don't know the way to call it, in the match. I don't know, he was really, really getting into it. He was even yelling at Aubrey during this match for I don't know, trying to count him out.
He's showing a lot of heel moves. He took off the turnbuckle. There were a lot of spots there where it was he was just doing a lot of extra stuff that wasn't necessary. That was a lot of heel tactics.
He hit Sonny with a vertebreaker, which I was like, all right, calm down. And Sonny's a nice person. Relax here. This is face versus face.
And then they're teasing the Four Horsemen heavy the past couple of weeks, and then you have Tully still in the crowd watching.
I wonder where that's gonna go. Maybe because if Cody would ever actually really turn heel, he'd probably have to change his presentation to Tully, because if he still had Arn with him, it would kind of be I don't know, everyone would still cheer because it's Arn.
Yeah, I feel like people are still gonna cheer though because it's Cody. So I don't know.
That's true.
The Four Horsemen. I mean, it's predictable, obviously now because they're making it very predictable. Maybe it's a big swerve of something else, which they were known for doing. But if I were to pick Four Horsemen, sorry, we're kind of off the match real quick, but I do Cody, FTR, and Hangman, because Hangman is a horseman. He's literally a horseman. That would be.
Okay.
But yeah. But solid match here. Obviously, Sonny came out with the dance, the Jags cheerleaders,
and Taz was on commentary for the first half of the show.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, and he kept hyping up the main event tonight. Obviously, Brian Cage, John Moxley. But they really liked this introduction from Sonny walking down to the ring.
Yeah, and it seems though, of course, Cody gets to win after hitting the crossroads to win the match. But it seems Cody might still be fine because they hugged it out at the end, with good sportsmanship. So
yeah, but
I don't know. Maybe he's still trying to present himself as a good sportsmanship. I don't know.
Every week it's more and more. So I don't know. Again, it's an open challenge again next week. Hopefully. There's a lot of rumors going around as to who it may be. I don't know if you know Warhorse, but he's an independent guy that I know a lot of.
Yeah, I know Warhorse, specifically from his Twitter presence.
Yeah, everybody on the replies to every tweet says Warhorse, to get a shot. And there was a promo package they did leading up to the Sonny match where Arn was like, "How about that Warhorse kid?" or whatever, or something like that. And then they faded to black. So I think it will be Warhorse, but who knows? It could be somebody else.
I would pop if that was what it would be.
It would be funny. I just want. I've said this in previous things. Cody match wasn't bad. He's just really slow. He's a slow builder in a match. He doesn't come out, full speed. Like, he doesn't do the high flying stuff. So
he doesn't have that indie style that you'd expect from most people on the
he
show.
has the WWE style, which is expected after being in the company for so long, which is fine.
And he's changed his style just a little bit.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's just like I want, like, for the open challenge, I want it to be like when someone comes out and be like, oh wow, they have a chance to win, you know? Like, with all these matches so far, to me, maybe Jungle Boy, but if Jungle Boy wasn't the first week, I would have thought Jungle Boy had a good shot to beat him.
Yeah, I feel like Jungle Boy was probably maybe the closest to being like a making you wonder who's gonna win. Because after that, it's really just been like one-sided Cody winning matches.
Yeah. So if they can turn that and make it into more, because it'll make it more exciting, obviously. So I don't know what they do with this title from here on out. I wish Lance Archer could just show up and beat him in like 2 seconds. I think that would be funny.
And they'll just make everything way more interesting, I guess. So the next match on this show was the Lucha Bros versus FTR, which Lucha Bros still has FTR's truck. The
Butcher in the driving the truck is such a scary sight. Like, he just has that serious face on with the mustache and the monocle, or I forget what it's called, a monocle or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
A scary sight. It's a weird pairing, but it works. I don't know how.
Yeah, it has like that wacky racers kind of feel to it. Like, if you know what that is.
Yeah, I do. So yeah, I mean, they came in. I mean, FTR was hyping this up as match of the year. Going into the match, I don't think it was match of the year. I think
I don't think it would be match of the year.
Better. But I mean, it was still a really good match. Like, don't get me wrong. I think it could have been better though.
Yeah, it probably could have been better.
Yeah, I mean, it was a solid match. FTR, they had a couple cool spots there with Phoenix.
I think Lucha Bros might still have maybe, I don't want to say, a little bit of ring rust maybe.
Yeah, well, definitely Pentagon, because in the beginning there they had that one botch. They had a double team move and they kind of like fumbled it, and they had to like and then do the move.
It was all better after that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Pentagon and Phoenix really haven't wrestled together that much since they started back with the 8-man tag. I think they had one match on Dark, but other than that, really, they haven't had many matches together since the pandemic. I think they're only going to get better from here, and they still are wrestling really well right now. It's just they can take it to the next level. And they're really on.
They were showing off a lot of FTR's strength in this match, like putting over that they can just like catch them at midair into like power bomb positions, like what Cash did.
There was a really sick spot where I think it was the Dax, maybe no Cash, the small Cash. He did the dive out to the outside on Pentagon and turned it into a DDT. That was sick. If you remember that spot, that was a really cool spot.
There's that one where Cash like hit Phoenix with an uppercut while he was like jumping in midair from the top rope.
Yep, a lot of cool spots here. I don't say it lived up to the hype because people were really, really hyping this up, but I mean, it was a really, really good match, but I don't think it was as good as what it could have been.
So the finish comes when Dax takes off Phoenix's mask and then rolls him up to get the win.
Yeah, and that's actually a great way to protect the Lucha Brothers, because in Mexico, I mean, Excalibur talked about it. If you take someone's mask off, that's the match ends, because like that's not allowed. It's like a heritage. Like, you don't do it. Like it's like giving someone the middle finger or something, or it's it's like a curse word, Just don't do it.
Like the mask is sacred and like wrestling in Mexico.
Yeah, so he took it off, and obviously they just gave the win because he couldn't wrestle without the mask on.
It gets also over that like FTR will do anything to try to get wins and be as wrestling smart, I guess.
Yeah, and then after the match is kind of
that's where things start heading out, because Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks decide to come out to join FTR in the ring, which Kenny gives them a can of beer, and then FTR dumps it on Omega's head. Yeah,
well, before that, Young Bucks sneaked up on Butcher and the Blade, super kicked them, got the keys back for their car.
Yeah.
Nice gesture there. And then obviously, like you said, Kenny came out with beer, and I was like, wow, Kenny's going to drink? Nope. They poured it on his head, and I mean, we'll talk about it, but this was a nice little hint at the gimmick for Kenny. I mean, what did Kenny have to go do? after he got beer dumped on him. He had to
Um,
clean it off.
yeah, clean himself up.
I'm just saying, I don't know if that was intentional, but that was a really cool way to do that. Because he obviously later on he teases the cleaner gimmick coming back, which is really fun. I'm waiting for that.
It says that he's teasing the cleaning gimmick by literally the cleaner gimmick by literally cleaning himself up from.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a little intentional, but maybe it wasn't. But it worked out because of what happened later on.
Yeah, so good news, FTR gets their truck back for their entrances.
Yeah, and where does FTR go? Obviously, they don't have a match next week.
Mm-hmm.
They'll probably show up for sure. Obviously, we'll see later on that they showed up during the Young Bucks match, but not in the match, like off with Hangman. But yeah, I mean, interesting storyline. This is probably one of the more interesting storylines in wrestling right now.
You'll see where it goes heading towards All Out.
Yeah, it got 5-6 weeks to build.
So the next segment on the show is a promo from Chris Jericho. He comes out with the Inner Circle and gloats about beating Orange Cassidy. He calls himself the king of the ratings, and even the demographic of the 18 to I think it was like 49. It says he's the king of the demos as well, so he gets to add that onto his like ever changing nickname that he always gets.
Yeah, so have you seen all the drama regarding the ratings like the past couple weeks?
Not really.
So basically NXT's beat them in the total viewership, but AEW is killing them in the 18 to 49 demographic, which is what Chris Jericho is talking about, and that's where like all the advertisers really want to see because that's like the younger, because like 50 plus is like not what the advertisers want to target for because they want to target for the future or whatever, so
yeah,
18 to 49, and AEW has been like top 10 every week in that, and NXT has not been close, but they win the total viewership, so all the NXT and WWE stands, they brag about it, and people don't understand the general rules of ratings, and like AEW's technically winning because they're winning in the area that matters, so that's why. And then Tony Khan, had a little talk about it on Twitter, and a lot of people were kind of angry at him about it because it would seem like he was a sore loser. It's whatever. Ratings honestly don't mean too much to me.
Yeah, I don't think it really matters much to me as well.
Like it's like obviously you want the ratings to be high, but I'm enjoying the show, so I don't really care.
Ratings is good business.
Obviously, they're important because you want to know what's working and what's not. And you also want to understand like if how the company's doing, especially during this time right now. And for AEW, a first-year company, be putting these numbers up during a pandemic, I think is good enough for me. But yeah, that's why
it's good to know that there'll be more AEW in the future. Is basically what it comes down to.
Well, yeah, they're signed till 2023, so it's not going away. So
yeah.
But yeah, so Chris comes out talking all this trash, he's working everybody. I know a lot of WWE fans were mad about this because they're like, oh, he can't keep WWE out of his mouth, blah, blah, blah,
I mean, that's kind of his thing. It's just to work everybody.
Yeah, he's a troll, and he's getting people to hate him, which is that's what he's supposed to do. So, classic Jericho, he knows what he's doing.
He just makes fun of everybody that he gets handled.
He's making people talk about him and talking about AEW. So all it's doing is putting eyes to AEW. They come out there, they have the gallons of orange juice in their hands.
He says that apparently, I guess, Cassidy kind of wants a rematch, but he won't get his rematch. But, well, we see what happens later.
And there was some crowd noise. I think that was like TNT people or something, but there was a loud crowd chant going on when he said they were like chanting "You scared." And that was some of the loudest crowd noise I've heard from AEW since this pandemic.
So we have, of course, at Orange Cassidy does come out from the crowd area, from like the bleachers, and then which of course gets Jericho starts getting riled up because of this, and then Cassidy puts his thumb up and then gives him a thumb down. So what does the thumb down mean? Well, orange juice comes raining down from the sky, including orange peels, because I saw there's orange peels on the ring as well. And this, of course, gets, everything goes going crazy. I think, like, I can't remember, Santana or Ortiz, they kind of start bumping for the orange juice.
Oh, yeah. Ortiz kept, wait, I'm blanking. Yeah, Ortiz kept slipping on the orange juice. He kept getting up and falling back down. because they're really good at selling that stuff.
They sell like everything, no matter what it is.
Yeah, and everybody's laughing. Chris Jericho's kind of like his head was down. He slowly put his head up, and he was pissed. And then obviously they were all kind of like Inner Circle was pissed in like the funny fashion. And next thing you know, they got the towel. They got him
throwing the towel,
and it's an Orange Cassidy towel, beach towel, and
yep, and that's what sets everything off.
Yeah, Jericho didn't see that it was a Orange Cassidy beach towel until Hager and Santana were like, "Look, don't use that towel, Chris." He's like, "What?" And then he looked at it and he got even more pissed. And yeah.
Mm-mm.
And well, I don't know what you're gonna say. I was just gonna say that they announced Chris Jericho is gonna be on commentary for the rest of the night before this happened.
Yeah.
And, I kind of figured where they were going with this after it got poured, because he would just be sitting there drenched in orange juice the rest of the show.
Yeah. And after this, they have an interview with Jurassic Express. Basically, to sum it up, they just kind of make fun of the Inner Circle. And,
Marco.
Yeah.
Marco is so funny.
And then in Jungle Sword... oh my god. Luchasaurus says that after 65 million years, the dinosaur gets to fight the Elite, and that's not funny.
No, and then he was like, "Marco, you got your kick pads on?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Where are they?" He said, "I don't know." And then they just walk off. And then Chris Jericho is pissed, because obviously Marco is making fun of Chris Jericho getting doused in orange juice.
Of course, it goes back to Jericho on commentary. Look at this jacket. I'm covered in orange juice.
$7,000, $6,000 jacket. This is just classic Chris Jericho, and he's on commentary, so it's even better.
And he likes to remind the viewers that he's covered in orange juice throughout the rest of the night, basically. Yeah. And it seems like there will be a rematch between Jericho and Cassidy sometime in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I see. Yeah, I just don't know where Cassidy goes from here, and I don't know where Jericho goes from here.
Unless Cassidy wins with this rematch.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just teasing
a rematch. It will be.
I don't think a rematch is gonna happen anytime soon. I think if you're gonna have a rematch, you gotta wait till fans come back, because I think the fans will. I mean, the fans would love this. Like,
well, yeah, of course, it's Orange Cassidy against Chris Jericho.
Yeah, so I would try and wait for the big, like the fan include, like the matches that the fans really want to see. Like, I'd try and wait if you can. I mean, if it's not looking good, then yeah, if possible. So I think they might try and wait for that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, fun segment. Obviously, what was next? Was this the Brandy match next?
No, the next match on the show was Jurassic Express versus the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Yeah, this might be my favorite match of the night as well.
Yeah, a lot of fun spots. You could tell
a lot of interesting story that goes on throughout this entire match, especially with Kenny Omega.
Yeah, people said he had extensions on, and that's not normally what he wears. Apparently he had extensions on, which was also a tease towards him going back to the cleaner gimmick. His hair looked normal to me, but
and they pointed out how he started out the match just wearing a t-shirt, showing that he doesn't really trying that much.
Yeah, he was wearing a shirt, and you don't really realize how big Kenny Omega is until he's like next to someone like Marco Stunt. Like, I didn't realize how big Kenny is until he was standing next to Marco Stunt.
Yeah, like, we know that Marco Stunt's pretty short, but he literally looked like a child compared to the Kenny Omega at parts of this, because he could just, like, throw him around.
Yeah, he was like, alright, just tag somebody else in. I'm tired of playing with a child, basically. And then, I mean, it went chaos. Jungle Boy had a lot of fun spots.
Yeah, him and Luchasaurus definitely had some great spots. Especially where Luchasaurus basically fought the entire Elite by himself.
Luchasaurus is getting better every week. We talked about this too. He had an injury, and he's slowly getting. I mean, he's back to form now, but he was slowly kind of getting back. He wasn't as fast as he used to be, and now he's back to that speed. And he's killing it. I just don't know what you do with that group like Jurassic Express, because you go for the tag belts. I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know if they're. I mean, I like them, so they could just be a nice little TV talent, but I think they're talented enough to be tag champs at some point.
I know this would be. I was just thinking about right now. I know this would be another like one-sided match, but like a Cody versus Luchasaurus TNT title match would be dope.
Yeah, I think that would be fun. It would definitely be a slow match, obviously, because that's how Cody is, and Luchasaurus is a bigger guy, but he's not slow. But it's gonna be
He's athletic.
yeah. I think it would be better than like a Hager match, obviously, for sure. So, I mean, I don't think you give the belt to Luchasaurus. You could,
Yeah, obviously.
Because
I feel like the main ending point, I think, is almost Cody maybe turning heel. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
I really don't know where else this is gonna go with him right now.
But but Luchasaurus did a lot of fun spots in this match. Same with Jungle Boy and even Marco Stunt. I mean, I know there's a lot of hate towards Marco because it's not realistic because he's like 5'5" or however tall he is, and he shouldn't be. It's not realistic or whatever. But he did a couple cool Hurricane Rana spots, and then obviously he had the Canadian Destroyer.
Yes, the Canadian Destroyer off the shoulders of Luchasaurus.
Yeah, all that on to Nick, who was off the shoulders of Matt Jackson. So like it was a high up, like off the turnbuckle kind of height. Really fun spot. It looked brutal.
Yeah. Of course, there's gonna be a lot of fun spots in this. It's like if you know both of these guys work.
Yeah, and trying to think of any other cool spots. I mean, there were a lot. Jungle Boy does these cool spots where he like flips off the ropes like with his legs and lands on his feet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he does that.
And there's that one combo that like Jurassic Express did that ended with like a DDT from Marco Stunt. That was really cool.
Yeah, they work on a lot of moves together. Like for sure. I think that's a big part of their, why people like them.
Probably just like sit around just thinking about how many crazy ways you can do moves together as a team.
With Marco, you could toss him around and put him on. Like you could do so much with Marco because of his size that they have a lot of creativity available, and it's a lot of stuff that most people haven't seen because it's like a combination of things that they put together. So that's a lot. That's why a lot of people like them. Also, they're just fun characters. I mean,
yeah, they're just fun characters and people to see.
Yeah, but obviously we'll get to the ending here.
Which kind of goes into that throughout the match. You see like Hangman at the bar, and then you see FTR join Hangman Page at the bar, watching the match.
And I mean, but Hangman shouldn't be. I mean, if Hangman was watching, he would have saw them dump beer on Kenny, which is his tag team his partner. So it's interesting to see him drinking there after that happened.
But I don't think we really know exactly where the bar is in context, I guess.
Yeah.
So after the match ends with Omega hitting the one wing of the Angel on Marco to get the win for the Elite.
That brutal.
Yeah, that looks brutal.
He had a suplex on Snapdragon on Marco. Marco is getting tossed around like a rag doll.
Yeah, it was that last Snapdragon that he did was absolutely brutal. Like it looked like he just dropped him right on his head.
Yeah, Kenny just flipped a switch, and you could tell he didn't want to. He was just sick and tired. He was going heel. Like it felt like he was heel Kenny again.
He went from like good guy Kenny Omega to like I'm just gonna kill this guy now.
Yeah, I just want to end this. I want this to be over with. So,
after the match, after they won, Omega continued to like do some like attacking Marco a little bit after the match, which causes the Bucks have to separate Omega and of course also separate Marco. And this is really interesting for where this is going to go in the future.
And Kenny was just like sitting there laughing like he was psychotic. Laughed like he didn't know it, like he was fine when he's a face, so really cool way to tease that. I'm really excited. I think I've said it. I've definitely said it on here. I want a Kenny Omega heel run with New Japan style, because I know there's a lot of like people saying that AEW did Kenny wrong, even though that's Kenny's decision because he's one of the people that does creative, and people are like, oh, they messed up Kenny. Like, no, Kenny's still killing it. He's just not doing what he was doing the past couple of years, and he still can do that. It's just they didn't think Kenny was. I think they were scared to give it to Kenny. I don't know why. And I think it was a smart decision to give the belt to Jericho.
Yeah. I think they just didn't want to give the title right away to a person who's partially like running the show.
Yeah, also that because people are like, oh, you're going to give the belts to all the guys and all the leaders. No, they haven't. The
Yeah,
only
it would be
people.
like a very WCW like NWO kind of feel to it then.
Yeah, so I'm really excited because I mean I've said this too. I want the Bucks to turn heel too, but I don't think that'll happen.
I don't think that would happen.
I just love the heel Bucks. I think they're more fun. I mean, they're still really fun right now, but I think I feel like they are heels down and deep down. It's
Because I've
just
seen them as heels and they did some pretty fun things.
oh
Like
yeah,
one that comes to head right away was like at Wrestle Kingdom one year where they fought Roppongi Vice. They went like they were like gonna walk away from the match and they went all the way up the stage just to attack them and then run all the way back to the ring to try to get them to count out when they were champions. So it was like it's the little things like that where it's like fun but they're still heels at the same time.
yeah. I mean, classic Bullet Club. That was Young Bucks and Kenny and Hangman were all on the Bullet and Cody at one point. They all have the ability to turn heel. The thing is though, like if Cody's turning, you can't have everybody turning heel, you know. So like everybody in the elite turning heel. I mean, you could, but then it's like the inner circle. Like if they have a long time feud with the inner circle, or they face like inner circle heels too. I feel like you need a face faction of some sort, you know.
Yeah.
I just feel like I mean they're smart. They know what they're doing. I'm just really interested to see how they handle all these characters.
I feel like some members of the elite can turn heel, but not all of them right now.
Yeah, I mean I'd be fine with it, but I just if the inner circle wasn't there, I'd say put them all heel. But inner circle is kind of the heel.
Yeah,
faction.
inner circle still exists.
Yeah, as of right now.
Yeah. So after the match ends, we have a segment, an interview with Hikaru Shida, which basically says that she would like to give Nyla a rematch, but if you think you're passionate enough, have enough passion, and you're tough enough, you can show it to her in a title match, basically.
So is this like an open challenge kind of thing?
I feel like basically it's just kind of saying that, like she doesn't want to just give people rematches just because, like she wants people to like earn their way and then get the title match. I guess I don't know.
Yeah. So people said that what's it called? Thunder Rosa, I think her name is from NWA. I tweeted out like, "Is this an open challenge for the AEW title?" And apparently, she's a really good talent in NWA.
I heard that name sounds familiar to me. I don't exactly. I haven't seen her stuff, but
at all really. And also NWA is kind of on the way down. It looks like, which sucks. But then there's gonna be a lot of wrestlers available to pick up, which will help AEW for the women's division, especially right now. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see where they go with this. Obviously, you have Nyla, which we'll get into.
yeah. But next though, they had a vignette from John Moxley, who basically said that he's pissed off because of many things. But then he remembers about Brian Cage's surgically repaired bicep, and so that will be his main point of attack for the match later tonight. Well, later in the show.
Yeah, and that's a really cool way to turn it into the match tonight. It's like Brian Cage was signed in January when it was first reported, and then his wife came out and was like, "No, he's not." And then basically Tony Khan said Brian Cage, like he said this week, that Brian Cage was on his like quote unquote Mount Rushmore of wrestlers he wanted to sign for AEW. So he just scooped him up no matter what if he was hurt and paid him while he was hurt because he didn't want anyone else to get him. And so he's been out with the torn bicep, and he finally was healthy at Double or Nothing. Yeah, so I mean that's a legit story. And it's a fun way to kind of turn it into that. I mean, we'll talk about the main event when we get there.
Yeah. So the next thing that happens on the show is the women's tag match between the Nightmare Sisters of Brandy Rose and Allie versus Kenzie Page and MJ Jenkins, which of course is just a one-sided match to get over Brandy Rose and Allie.
Yeah, and they kind of have some new theme music. They're called the Nightmare Sisters, and they kind of combine Brandy's theme song with like a darker kind of theme song. I don't know how to describe it, but it's whatever. I don't really know how I feel about this. Brandy's definitely gotten a lot better in the ring though, which I'll give her credit for 100%. It's just right now I don't get what this is trying to do here, especially when QT, who's like the main point of this story, isn't even like on the show because of corona issues.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't get what you're trying to do with this, because you have a tag. You're trying to show a tag team women's match, right? And a new team. But the thing is, you hardly have enough women to have a singles division, like a
That's true.
singles division. Why are you focused on the tag team division? Like, there's no reason to be focused on the tag team division right now.
And they don't really have anything for a women's tag team to really go for right now.
They don't. They have not. I mean, they don't have a belt. Who
Really
would
have
even
anything.
hold the belt right now? I mean, obviously, probably Brandy and Allie, but who would they face?
Definitely, like there is no real other people for them to go against. Like it's just like I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, Chris Statlander's hurt, Britt Baker's hurt, and
then there's just a bunch of women who can't make it.
Yeah, and then you have Big Swole, who's not there yet, in my opinion. She's still really talented. Nyla Rose, who's going to look for the belt singles. Like, there's no reason to be doing this, in my opinion. I mean, I get they're a team or whatever, but I just don't know what you're trying to do.
Yeah, like I don't know where the end goal of this is really gonna go.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the realistic one's obviously Allie turns on them or something, but I don't know.
So the next segment of the show is Nyla Rose announcement, and this is where we ask like, so who is her manager? And also we see on the edge that Britt Baker has a nose splint this week now. But so we ask, who is her manager? Well, it's Vicky Guerrero.
Yeah, her theme music kind of was really good. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was kind of like Nyla Rose's theme, but it was just like tied to who Vicky Guerrero is.
Yeah, and
so what do you think of this?
See, the thing is, I think Nyla can talk herself. So I don't think she really needed a manager. I don't think this really was needed. But Vicky Guerrero, I mean, that's easy heel heat. I mean,
Easy heel heat, real easy.
She's just annoying, and it was funny because the crowd was calling her a Karen because she kind of did look like a Karen with the hair and all of that stuff. But it's just like, I mean, you can't not be like when you see. I mean, any general wrestling fan knows who Vicky Guerrero is. So she also brings eyes to the company, maybe eyes, that people like Vicky, and they stop watching wrestling and they see Vicky. Oh, she's on what's AEW. Does bring viewers, probably. So.
I mean, really, the only thing I truly like about Vicky is her maniacal laugh that she does. That's beyond that. It's just like,
Yeah, I mean that's the point. You're not supposed to be happy. You're not supposed to be. Oh yes, like no, because that's the point. But yeah, I mean I don't hate it. My thing is like I don't think Nyla really needed a manager. But that's I don't mind it.
He is pretty good at talking. But
she's really good on the mic and everything. It just seemed like they were like, all right, just throw a manager on her. But again, I don't hate it. I don't know if they go straight for the belt with Hikaru Shida. It looks like that's where they're going with this eventually.
Possibly.
Because again, who else are they going to wrestle right now?
Yeah, it's true. Well, I mean, they did announce for next week, which we'll get to, but two women who are also going to be on the show now, it seems.
And Ivelisse, former Lucha Underground wrestler.
Yes. That's what I'm most excited for right now for next week is when they say Ivelisse is gonna have a match next week. I was like, all right, this is exciting for now.
She has to win, right? I mean,
yeah, that's what I think.
I mean, I think she's really talented. It would be a big signing. I think WWE is gonna sign Tessa Blanchard.
Yeah, probably.
Which I wish AEW could, but she has a lot of issues right now. There's a lot of heat on her with apparently, her saying being racist and stuff like that. And I don't know how. I don't think she'd be good for the locker room at the moment. And WWE can have her, I guess. So, yeah, I mean,
that's the whole situation. I don't know too much about.
Yeah, it's really, I don't know. There's a lot of claims that she was been racist and stuff like that, and obviously AW is pretty good with making sure. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say that because of Sammy, but they're pretty good with that.
They try their best. That's what they tried the hardest they can to make sure everyone is as clean as possible.
Yep.
So they also announced for next week, Young Bucks are going against Butcher and Blade, and Hager and Jericho are going against the Jurassic Express of Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy.
Yeah, I mean the Butcher and the Blade Young Bucks match is going to be crazy because they said it was Falls Count Anywhere, so something's gonna happen with that.
Probably maybe FCR related.
Yeah, or that truck maybe. I don't know. Something could happen outside the ring. I'm looking forward to that. Chris Jericho, great, but I don't really want to see Hager on my TV, man. Not wrestling. Like, I don't know. I think I get it though, because you can't really have Santana or Ortiz because they're like they're like a pairing. You can't.
Because like, who else is Jericho gonna team with right now?
Sammy would be perfect for this, obviously, but yeah.
So we move on to the main event of the show. Is the AEW World Title match between John Moxley, the champion, against Brian Cage.
Yep, and,
which we talked about last week about what the FTW title really be, and we learned that he did actually to defend the title on AEW Dark against, I think, Brian Pillman Jr., which I think that's pretty cool.
Yep, it was a fun match. Brian Pillman is also another prospect that they're looking at. Obviously, a great name there.
Yeah, that'd be cool if they signed him.
I'm pretty sure he's going to be signed. He still has a contract with another indie company. I think it's like MLW.
Yeah.
With the whole Corona stuff going on and stuff like that, they're allowing wrestlers to go out and wrestle elsewhere. But
everyone's I think earned their money.
Yeah, and Ricky Starks has been wrestling on Dark too. He's been looking good. So I think sooner or later you're going to see at least Ricky Starks on the main roster. But but back to the FTW belt. It looks like they're going to defend this. And
I think they said that it's supposed to be like a unrecognized title.
Yeah, obviously we'll talk about the ending of this after the match, which probably is looking at the future of this defense. That's probably a title defense.
So yeah, the match itself was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, I kind of wished it was more than what it was. I don't know. The ending, a lot of people there's mixed feelings on the ending, but
I have mixed feelings about it.
So to start in the beginning, that was just straight up like, John Moxley doing his thing, but Brian Cage was just,
one step ahead and just too strong. Like he was Moxley was getting just thrown around for most of this match.
Yeah. And they take it outside. They have a brutal suplex onto the rail.
Yeah, like Cage Germans does like a German suplex onto like the barricade.
Yep, there were a lot of fun spots here. It could have been better, in my opinion, just like the FTR match, but I think it was still a solid match.
Like Moxley also got suplex onto a chair.
Yep. Oh, I forgot about that. Moxley took a couple bumps, and also like Moxley, he looked good for not being able to wrestle for a couple weeks. So it could have been better. I think the ending was a little weird. I don't hate the ending because I understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah. I might as well just get right to it because the whole match, Moxley was trying to, of course, attack the
like he said he would
arm, like he said he would. Yeah. So it gets down to Moxley tries all these different kinds of submissions on Cage, which then gets him into a spot where he gets kind of into a tough spot where he's not really able to get to the ropes. And Taz decides to throw in the towel, and Moxley wins. Which
And okay, so I don't hate it. Like I don't want, I get it.
They keep on saying is that the reason why he did it was to protect his investment.
Yeah, because if Brian Cage loses his arm, technically, obviously they wouldn't,
Yeah,
but
not gonna do that.
Kayfabe loses his arm, it's like, well, then all that's gone because he's gonna have to get surgery again and rehab. So I get that part, and then also, you don't know, Brian Cage could have got out of that. Technically,
yeah,
the match wasn't technically over until Cage didn't submit or anything. But I can see why people were upset because they were hyping up Cage as the big bad guy.
Yeah, and they're kind of building up this guy who's like indestructible just for his manager to just be throw in the towel, he gives up.
And again, he still has a title, gives him heel heat. He's going to be a heel kind of guy right now.
Yeah, I almost kind of expected Cage to just attack Taz at one point.
Yeah, but I didn't think that was going to happen because Taz is doing so well right now with this mic.
Yeah.
With the mic, I think you got to keep it together because I don't think you just build it for it to be ruined like that. But Cage had a really cool. I don't know how he can do it at his size, but he had like the backflip. I don't know what kind of move it was.
Yeah, the moonsault.
The moonsault off the top rope, and that he got height for his size. It was crazy, and that was like a flash of what he can do, and like he still.
Yeah,
didn't
I feel like that's
do...
more stuff they need to go into. Is like some of the stuff that he can do from like the top rope and more
outside. People still don't know. Like that was a glimmer, like a flash of it. Like he didn't even do much of what he can do, like athletically with top like Joe, like his, or like getting up in the air and stuff like that.
Yeah, like he is really athletic, and he hasn't like I guess they haven't really shown off all of his athleticism yet.
And I think it'll come in this next match that they're trying to push after, which gets. And I kind of knew where they were going with this because one, I saw how much time was left, and by accident,
you always knew something's gonna happen when the match ends and you see that there's still time left on the show.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, there's like 3, 4, 5 minutes, like 3 to 5 minutes. I was like, what is it? And then I was like, oh wait, and then I was like, well, who hasn't been on the show in a while? And then
because lights go out, and then the lights come afterwards. When Cage starts attacking Moxley after the match, but then the lights go out. Lights come back on, and it's Darby Allin from the top rope attacking Cage with the skateboard.
Yeah, and Darby Allin's back. Happy to have him back. Obviously, he was apparently medically not cleared to wrestle, but he was allowed to almost die on the skateboard.
Yeah, do all those crazy like stunts.
Yeah, so I'm happy to have him back. I'm excited to see what they do with this feud. I think there can be a lot of fun spots because I think, Brian Cage put Mox through the back of a car. Like I can imagine the things that Darby will be willing to do.
I could see Cage defending the FTW title against Darby.
Oh, for sure. I think that's where they're gonna go.
Because that's it's the perfect title for Darby to go against, just like loose cannon title.
Yeah, and the thing is though, there's no way Cage loses, right?
Yeah, of course he's not gonna lose.
Way.
No way. No
way.
way.
You can't have him lose 2 matches in a row. So
yeah, that will not happen.
Yeah, and there's also another question is where does Mox go from here?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Because MJF is in action next week, he might start a feud with Mox. I'm sure he's gonna have something to say with Wardlow. But yeah,
I'm really wondering who's gonna challenge the title next for All Out.
Yeah, if I had to guess right now, it'd be Mox. I mean, not Mox. It would be MJF. Why'd I say Mox? It would be MJF.
That would make the most sense right now.
If we're looking at standings, and MJF has been saying that he deserves a title shot and stuff like that, so it could be him.
Honestly, MJF should just win. Then that's my opinion.
Yeah, because I think MJ. I mean, I think again. I hope fans can be allowed at some point. Florida's kind of not looking really good at all right now. I thought they're in the beginning.
Everywhere doesn't look really good right now. Let's be real.
A lot of places don't. But it sounds like there's a vaccine getting very, very close.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't seen anything about that.
So there's a vaccine that they're testing that's very promising, and it's in the very, very final stage. They have to test 40,000 people on July 27th or something like that. And they obviously got to determine if it's powerful enough.
Sounds like music to my ears.
Yeah, so I can send you the article after we stop recording here, but there's some promising things, it looks like. Who even knows anymore with this virus?
Hey, I don't like taking shots, but if a vaccine comes out, I'll be the first one in line.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would definitely be the first one in line. I mean, this isn't a medical pod here, but I'm just saying, people are. I don't think they would I'm taking that shot. It's because the worst thing it doesn't do anything. It's gonna hurt a little bit, but I've been tested for my job. I mean, I'm not.
I'll do freaking anything right now at this point. I just want to.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think school's another issue right now. We're trying to talk. We both go to the same school, and I don't know what's gonna happen. Schools around us are canceling and they're fully online, and half of kids' classes are online, and they're making them stay. And I don't know. It's a mess.
So going back to the MJF thing.
Yeah, going back to the MJF thing.
I'll just imagine if MJF gets the title he would have so much heel heat. Like he could just rail on with it so much that he would be just the most detestable person living on the planet if you have the AEW title.
But what I was trying to get at was when I started this whole rant was with the fans. I think MJF. I mean, all of these guys really thrive off of fans, but I think MJF. If you have people with him at the belt, it's just a great picture to have of him. Just I mean, I have the belt. Like, what are you guys gonna do about it? And everyone's just mad at him. Because he's MJF.
Yeah, that's MJF.
I can just see him with Warlow. I mean, they were teasing a little Warlow turn on him, but I think that's a slow build. They like long-term booking, which is really fun because it makes the storylines last longer, obviously, and they have more time to
interesting stories.
Yeah, and BTE's also kind of having some fun stories on it. If you haven't, be sure to go check those out. Every Monday at like 12 o'clock, they post them. There can be everywhere from like 15 to this last week was 30 minutes long. They're doing a lot of fun stuff with Dark Order on there. Really making me like Dark Order and Brody Lee. And then Peter Avalon and Brandon Cutler are on there talking about who the biggest loser is. Which is, it's just fun. A lot of fun stuff on there. Really makes my Mondays. Yeah, I mean, I just can't wait to see what they do with all these storylines.
Yeah. Especially with Kenny Omega.
Yeah, next week, however, does look a little weak to me. I don't know. I think
that's just because they're trying to go back to regular like Dynamite television.
Just like I think the storylines are going to be in there that aren't promoted. Like the matches are going to be there, but then there's going to be storylines like after and before the match that I think will progress storylines. It's just I think it's going to be fun. Obviously, you have Mox and Cage now, or not Mox and Cage, Cage and Darby. So
that'll be fun.
Now that Darby's back on TV, who knows what's going to happen?
Darby will take a ridiculous spot, and you'll like sell it like crazy.
Then I'll be medically unable to compete again, and he'll go back to skateboarding and almost dying, medically unable to compete. So can't wait for that. But no, props to AEW. In my opinion, past couple weeks have been really fun. And,
keeping the fans engaged.
Yeah, I mean, for what's going on right now, they're doing a pretty good job, in my opinion, for a new company.
So that's got to do it for this week's episode. My name is Shawn Long.
And I'm Justin Bradley.
This has been the AEW Rewind podcast. Make sure you tune in next week for the episode Dynamite.